Inheritance and reproduction, how life continues, and how traits are passed down. Have you ever wondered, why do I look the way I do? Why do I have my mom's nose but my dad's height? Why is my hair curly while my brother's is straight? The answer isn't magic. It's your genetic code, the instructions in your DNA. Let's dive into inheritance and reproduction to see how DNA carries those instructions from one generation to the next. Let's talk about how living things make more living things. In nature, there are two main ways this happens. One way is sexual reproduction. It involves two parents, each contributing DNA. The offspring end up with a unique combination of genetic information. This genetic mixing creates diversity, which helps species adapt and survive changes in the environment. A second way is asexual reproduction. It involves just one parent, and the organism produces offspring that are usually genetic copies of itself. This method is fast and efficient. Bacteria use it constantly. But because the offspring are so similar, the entire population can be vulnerable if something harmful, like a disease, comes along. Now that we know how organisms reproduce, how do the actual instructions get passed down? How do your body know whether to develop blue eyes, brown eyes, or anything else? These instructions are passed from parents to offspring through a process called inheritance. Inheritance is how genetic information moves from one generation to the next, and the science that studies inheritance is called genetics. So let's take a closer look at the package of instructions you receive at birth. To understand genetics, we need to understand how your body stores and organizes information. Think of your body like a massive library. DNA is the coded language that all your instructions are written in. Every cell in your body reads this coded language to build and run everything you are. Because there's so much DNA, your body organizes DNA into books called chromosomes. Humans have 23 pairs of these books in every cell, one set from your mom and one set from your dad. Inside each book are chapters called genes. Each gene contains a specific set of instructions, like a chapter that explains how to make eye color, blood type, or even abilities like tongue rolling. All those genes work together to shape your traits. But are all traits genetic? Not exactly. Inherited traits are the characteristics you are born with. Your natural hair texture, your skin color, and even your height potential come from the DNA you receive from your parents. But there are also acquired traits. You play a sport or an instrument? You weren't born knowing how to play the flute. You learned that. Scars, dyed hair, and skills are all things you gain during your life. These aren't passed down to your children through DNA. So, who figured all this out? Meet Gregor Mendel. He wasn't a fancy scientist with a high-tech lab. He was a monk who really liked gardening. In the 1800s, he spent years growing thousands of pea plants. He noticed that if he crossed a tall plant with a short one, the babies weren't medium-sized, they were tall. He realized that traits follow rules. He discovered that some traits can essentially hide in one generation and pop back up in the next. He is why we call genetics a science today. Mendel gave us two very important vocabulary words. I want you to remember code versus look. Genotype is the secret code inside your cells. Scientists write this with letters like big B, little b. You can't see a genotype just by looking at someone. Phenotype is the physical look. It's the photo. Brown eyes, freckles, dimples, that's the phenotype. The genotype is the recipe, and the phenotype is the cake you actually bake. Remember how Mendel found that some traits can hide? That's because some alleles have more influence than others. Dominant alleles mask recessive alleles. We write them with a capital letter, like big B. If you have even one dominant allele, that trait will usually appear. Brown eyes are often dominant. Recessive alleles only appear when two copies are present. We write them with a lowercase letter, like little b. These only show up if there is no dominant allele present. It's how two brown-eyed parents can have a blue-eyed baby, if they are both carrying a hidden recessive allele. So, if we know the parent's genes, can we predict the baby's traits? Yes, we use a tool called a Punnett square. It looks like a window pane. We put dad's genes on the top and mom's genes on the side. Then we fill in the boxes to see the possible combinations. It's important to remember this isn't a crystal ball that tells the future. It helps us calculate the probability or the odds of a trait showing up. It's like flipping a coin. Everything we talked about, from the color of your eyes to the shape of your toes, is written in a microscopic code inside you right now. You are a walking, breathing book of instructions, passed down through thousands of ancestors to make the unique person sitting in this chair today. That was a lot of new vocabulary. We explored DNA, phenotypes, inheritance, and even took a quick trip back to Mendel's pea plants. Understanding inheritance is a huge step towards understanding how you became you.